Hello, Year 7, Mr. O'Shea here, and today we're going to take a look at your new history topic for this term. So we're moving on from the Black Death, and now we're going to be looking at migration. So you might be able to have a guess at what we're going to be looking at from the images on the title screen. So let's have a look. So as always, I'd like you to copy the key question and use that as your title. So title, the key question for today, why do people migrate? And as your starter, I want you to have a go at this. I want you to tell me, what are the definitions of the following words? So can you define the following 4 words? They're going to be key words for this module. So migration, emigrant, immigrant, refugee. Don't worry if you have no idea, but I want you to just have a go and do your best to anything that comes to mind when you hear these words. So pause the video and please write your title and write your definitions. So let's move on. The key terms. Let's see how close your answers were. Migration. So what is migration? Migration simply is the movement of people from place to place. So people leaving one country for another or one city for another. Emigrant. What is an emigrant? The emigrant is a person who is leaving one country to live in another. So if you leave a country, you are an emigrant for that country. And then once you arrive to the new country, you become an immigrant. So the immigrant is the person who enters a new country. So for Britain, I am an immigrant. I am British, I left Britain, I'm an immigrant. But in Qatar, I'm an immigrant because I have entered this new country. And finally, refugee. Probably a word you've heard a lot, but maybe not so sure what it means. A refugee is a person who has moved to a new country because of a problem in their former home. So this is someone who's not moving by choice, they're really being forced to move. So if you got those correct, give it a quick tick. Otherwise, please pause the video and make sure you've got these key terms because they're going to be vital for this module. Okay. First task, you can either do this as a spider diagram or you can do it as a bullet point list with this question as a subheading. I want you to please put down as many different reasons why you think people migrate. So why do people leave the country or the city they're from and move to another place? So as many as possible. Pause the video and please complete this task. Okay, so let's see how you did. You may have more than this, but I'm going to go through with you 4 main reasons. First one, economic migration. This is all to do with money. This is moving really to find work or a particular career, something that's not available in your own home. You want to be improving your life in terms of career so that you can make more money. There's more opportunities, a bigger salary to find. So please, can you answer this question? Can you create one scenario where somebody might become an economic migrant? So one scenario where someone might leave their home for somewhere else due to jobs or money or studies. So pause the video, please complete that. Second, social migration. This is to do with a better quality of life. So you want more options, you want better schools, you want better hospitals, you want more sports to play, you want more concerts to go to, cinemas, shopping malls, restaurants. Anything that's going to make your social life better, or if you're moving to be close to family or friends. Again, Please, can you create one scenario where someone might become a social migrant? And can you please pause the video and write that down? So, number 3, political migration. And this is all to do with people escaping a bad situation. So they want to escape from persecution or war. These are people who are not really moving from choice. They're moving from necessity. So refugees would normally fall under this category. Again, I want you to come up with one scenario where someone might become a political migrant. Please pause the video and write that down. Finally, oops, better move over a little. I want you to tell me, oh, no, I'm going to tell you, environmental migration. So this is all to do with the environment. And the reason for this migration includes natural disasters such as flooding, earthquakes, and pollution. So people whose homes are in danger or destroyed due to these types of disasters or pollution. Again, can you create one scenario where somebody might become an environmental migrant? You can maybe think back to the China module we looked at in geography. Okay, so those are our 4 categories. We have economic, we have environmental, we have social, and we have political migration. And along with these 4 factors, we're going to look at what we call push and pull factors, because these are really the specific reasons that people leave one place and choose another. So, a push factor. The push factor, guys, important definition, a push factor is the reason people leave an area. So why does somebody want to leave their home? Why does somebody feel the need to move to another country? First, a lack of services. If your home doesn't have good schools for your children, good hospitals if you get sick, leisure activities to do outside of work, people are not going to be happy. So that is one push factor, a lack of services. A lack of safety and high crime. These two, they go together. If you can't be safe where you live, if there's a lot of crime, if you're at risk of violence, you're not going to want to stay where you are. Crop failure. So this is when crops fail. We looked at this related to China crops. So this is farming and food. What happens if the crops fail? People starve. Okay, and drought. Drought is the opposite of flooding. So flooding, we know that's when the rivers, they have too much water. We saw that with the Three Gorges Dam. Drought is the opposite, when there's no rain for a long time, there's no water, people have nothing to drink, and the animals, the crops have no food. Poverty, if there's a lot of poverty where you live, probably you're going to be impacted by it. You're going to have a more difficult life. And of course, war. If there is a war in your home, it's not a good situation. You're going to need to leave to ensure the safety of you and your family. So guys, please, can you now copy down this list, and your task is going to be to categorize these push factors into the 4 groups we looked at previously. You need to add an E for economics, S for social, P for political, or an EN for environmental to mark their category. Okay, so please pause the video and categorize these factors into the 4 groups in your book. Okay, perfect, so that's done. Let's have a look at the pull factors. Again, move up a little. Pull factors. So, pull factors are what pull people to a particular area, what attracts people to move to a certain city or to a country. These can be higher employment. So let's take Let's take London, for example. Why do people move to London? One reason, there are lots of jobs in London. What do jobs provide? Wealth. More jobs means more money, more opportunities, people can get richer. So if your city or country has lots of jobs, lots of money, they're going to attract more people. Better services. So schools, hospitals, leisure, as we talked about with the push factors, if a city provides all of these things, it's going to be more attractive. Good climate. So you want somewhere that isn't 50 degrees hot all the time, but at the same time isn't raining and cold. A climate that's in the middle, that will be perfect and it will attract people. Safer, less crime. Again, we talked about if people are safe walking the streets, they'll be happier. Political stability, more fertile land, which means more crops can be grown. This will attract people because it will mean there'll be food available. There's no chance of them starving. And lower risk from natural hazards, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes. I don't think anybody would like to live next to a volcano, or anybody would like to live in a place where earthquakes happen all the time. So that's a bit of common sense. You leave these places. So again, what you need to do, I want you to pause the video and I want you to categorize these push factors into the 4 groups, putting the letter that represents the group. So pause your video, and please do this. Finally, so now we've gone through some of the reasons why people might leave a certain place. I want you to think back to geography in term 1. We looked at Qatar in term 1. Does migration have a big impact on Qatar's population? I think if you paid any attention in those classes, and if you can remember, we know the answer is yes, it has a big impact. So what you're going to do now, your final task, I want you to write at least 1 paragraph explaining what push or pull factors lead to migrants choosing to come to live in Qatar. So what makes people want to come to Qatar? Remember, people in Qatar come from many different countries. And what are the push factors from some of those countries? So what makes them want to leave? And what attracts them to Qatar in particular? So why do they choose Qatar over, let's say, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Oman, these kind of places? So guys, at least 1 paragraph, that's the minimum. And you're going to explain push and pull factors that lead migrants to choosing to come in and live in Qatar. So guys, that's your final task for today. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak to you via video tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.